games, and then at the end of the Alrighty, guys, we got another live unboxing to do here. Thanks to Mr. Herman Lootman, who I just texted and let him know that I got my box in. In fact, doing a live open the box right now. So I'm texting him and letting him know I'm doing a live open the box because it's all because of Herman. Because he had texted me like 6 months ago and he's like, oh, hey, I just kickstarted this game. You might be interested in it. And of course, I was. So I ended up doing the Kickstarter as well. So thanks to Herman, we got this because of him. So for shame on you. This is by Plaid Hat Games. Plaid Hat Games. So if you are familiar with Plaid Hat Games, you might know what this Kickstarter was. It is, of course, Ashes Reborn. So basically, this is their Rise of the Phoenix-born Master Set. A game by Isaac Vaga. And of course, Plaid Hat Games. And then the Corpse of Viros Deluxe Game Expansion Module. So we're going to open up these boxes, take a look at what's inside. Here we go. Here we go. That's not what I want to see at all. What are we doing? What are we doing? That's not what we wanted. That's crazy. Why is that? Why is that? Oh, because, right, I know why. There we go. All right, sorry about that, guys. Wow, that is terrible. I was obviously absolutely not ready to do this, but we're going to do it anyways. We're going to do it anyways. All right, so we got a couple boxes. Let's open them up and see what the hell is in each of these boxes. This is Rise of the Phoenix-born Master Set, Ashes Reborn. So win the battle and ascend to victory. Choose the Phoenix-born, a powerful demigod and magic wielder. Summon faith and allies and dangerous creatures. Combine powerful spells. Outwit your opponent with a fast-paced, back-and-forth barrage of well-crafted magic and strength. It's 14 and up, 2 to 4 players, 15 to 30 minutes per player. But with the Ashes Reborn Red Reigns, I believe this allows you to play against the AI bot, which we'll look at that here in a second, I guess. We'll see. So normally it's a competitive deck building kind of game, but with the expansions, I believe it adds solo play, so cooperative play actually as well. So let's see what we got in the box. All right, that's not what I wanted to do at all. So we got our rule book version 1.5. Stop if you want us to teach how to play. You can visit plaidhatgames.com and watch a video explanation. There's your round summary. You got your prepare phase, player turn phase, recovery phase, and end round phase. Pretty involved little rule book. All right, so we have some tokens. We have some tokens, which are going to be for all the different players. And of course, the first player token. Hey, all right. There's some more bags. I don't know why. And a bunch of dice. And of course, what card game would not be complete without a bunch of cards? Each of these are, I believe, individual decks for the individual people, but we'll look at those here in a second. We'll look at those here in a second, my friends. All right. So we got the blue counters, which are, I believe, exhaustion counters, right? So when you activate a unit to do something and it's done, it goes exhausted. You can have more than one exhaustion counter on a guy, but then you have resource counters. I think the red is damage, I believe. Damage, like taking damage, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then green is, like mana or something. Let's... We'll definitely... get this done, punched out. There we go. All right. So we put that into a bag for now. And then we'll look at the dice, which the dice are pretty standard. They're going to be 3, I think this is the boss. Yeah, I think this is the boss dice. And then each of the players are going to have their own set of dice. The dice come with different sides, depending on what you roll, which will be your different activation, what it costs to bring in different units into your side to do battle, right? So if we look at, say, this guy here, look at this guy here. This is Noah Red Moon, right? And then each of them have their own amount of battlefield units they can bring in, their life value, and total amount of spells that they can have. So this guy here can have up to 7 allies and 4 spells. And then his deck, you can see, have different symbols in the corner. So it costs a magic symbol and a basic symbol to bring this card in, and each of them has special abilities. You have the Masked Wolf. It's a conjuration. It's a battlefield. It's got an attack value, a life value, and a recover value. A whole bunch of those. And the False Demon, the Small Sacrifice, the Stormwind Sniper, the Summoning Sleeping Widow, the Sleeping Widow, Fade Away, the Bound Soul, and the Sleight of Hand, Shadow Strike, and Resummon. So that's what would come in this guy's deck by default, but I think you can actually do some deck building if that's your thing, I guess. Let's see what we have here. We have another guy with a bunch of different spells and abilities, and then he has this Iron Rhino and the Anchornaut, the Iron Worker, the Hammer Knight, close combat. And then I think these are your different. So you have the ceremonial magic and the dice for those. You have the natural magic and then the illusion magic and the charm magic. So there's different dice for the different kinds of magic that you are going to perform. So this guy is it doesn't say. All right. So but you see some of these have got like this little dagger symbol in the corner. She's got the little dagger symbol, so you're going to need to roll the dice, or yeah, you're going to have to roll. You will notice that this one's got like a little frog, so this is the natural one. And this is the little wolf. And then here's the dagger. I think the dagger represents like stealth or deception or something. Or, well, we just looked at it. Ceremonial magic. So you got the wolf symbol, the dagger, and that little symbol there. The natural magic has a frog, a leaf, and a thing. The illusion magic has a wolf, a thing, and a thing. And the charm magic has got like a little thing, and a thing, and a thing. Yeah. I'm not going to get too technical on you. Really? This huge box. Huge box for just these little bitty cards. So obviously they want you to be able to put lots of expansions in your box. We have another lady. This happens to be, what was her name? Where is she? Where did she go? I don't know. Where did she go? Where did she go? There she is. Mania, a Viper. She's got 20 life, battlefield of 4, spellbound of 5. That's nice. Yeah. Thing is, they didn't make, well, that's, they didn't make these, like, seriously, why wouldn't they have put in divider that is going to blood transfer? It is Jessa Nai. Jessa Jani. With her super cool cut the strings, the living doll, blood archer. Yeah, okay. We have another character called Sigraya Gilman. Ooh, Seaside Raven. Three-eyed owl, the purge, the abundance, the enchanted violinist, the rose fire dancer, the hidden power. Great artwork. Thanks to Herman for suggesting I get this game because he thought I might like it. So we'll see about that. And I think there's 10 of each of these dice. Because I think you always roll the 10 dice, I believe. Could be wrong, but Ariel Summerglade. The Blue Jaguar. The Mist Spirit. The Summoned Butterfly Monk. The Butterfly Monk. The Shifting Mist. The Mist Typhoon. The Steady Gaze. The Out of the Mist. The Massive Growth. And the Reflection in the Water. And the Root Armor. So, I'm just trying to figure out why they would not have designed this with layout for your cards. This is crazy. Absolutely insane that you would make a card game and not have set up. Oh, I don't. All right. Put that there for now. And now let's look at our expansion. Ashes Reborn Red Rains. All right, this is the Corpse of Viros Deluxe Game Mode expansion. Which is your rule book. This rule book is for players who are learning or relearning Ashes in order to play the solo or two-player co-op version of the game. If you are already an experienced Ashes player, we suggest you learn how to play this version of the game using the Chimera rulebook instead. This rulebook is intended for players who are already familiar with playing Ashes. Okay, so there's two different rulebooks, whether you're familiar or not. You have your dice. You have your more tokens, because why not? All right, let's see what we got here. More of the same tokens, so nothing new there. Same tokens it is. So probably didn't include enough in the base game, so they added more, and they added, looks like 10 markers, so that will help. There are some new counters. These are these little gems. These little gems, I think, which keep track of power-ups for your boss. Your boss you're fighting against powers up, and I think these gems, oh, there's actually 10s and 20s, and there's the ones that have got 5s on the backside. That's interesting. All right, that's that. Put that in our bag. All right, what else do we have? I don't know. Let's see what this is. Is this like a player board? Is that what this is? All right, so discard, draw. The Chimera you're fighting against probably is discard. These are the different gem locations to power up. His ultimate ability and his behavior. Okay. Then, of course, we have one enemy to fight. That happens to be... this is like maybe... Okay. This is like his AI deck. Okay. And, oh, is this another... Oh, this is another hero to use. Rise of the Phoenix Born, Master Set, Ashes, Blood Puppets, and you have let's see what we have here. I don't know what these are. Brennan, Black Cloud, Jessa Nai, Cole, Roll, Wind. Maybe these are different character powers for the solo mode. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see here. This rulebook is for players who are learning or relearning Ashes in order to learn to play the solo or two-player. All right, that's what we want. So we have Phoenixborn cards. You are a Phoenixborn. You are the most important card. Its battlefield and spellboard values dictate how many units and ready spells you can have and play at a time, and its life value is how many wounds you can take before you're out of the game. A Phoenixborn is not a unit. Spell cards, dice, chimera cards, aspect cards, behavior cards, ultimate cards. So these are going to be all of the Corpse of Viros. This is for 2 players. Let's see if we flip this over. Is it for 1 player? Yep, 1 player. 1 player, 1 player, 1 player, 1 player. Oh, you got a 1 player and you have a 2 player side. All right. So there you go. Depending on how many, if you're going to multi-hand it or if you're going to play with a friend. This is co-op or solo mode, obviously. So that's that. We have our different behaviors for the enemy, their ultimate abilities. All right. And then, yeah, these cards here. Sure why those. No, I have to read up on it and figure it all out. I don't know. Put this together here. Again, I don't know why they, yes and no, they will not fit over here on this side. I don't know why they would design a box for a card game that you don't actually have. Like, I don't understand. That's crazy. And it's definitely not. This is too small and this is too wide. So why would they do that? They could have put this piece right down the middle and then you could have actually used this box. Why would they do that? That's crazy. I don't understand it. And then, do these punch out? They do punch out. So this is your play board for your boss. You got your dice. This is a pretty nice tray, actually, that came in this box. I don't know why they just didn't put things in the box, but all right, you know. Good to see you, David. I assume the cards are too tall to put in there vertically. I'm assuming as well, but let's see. Yeah, way too tall. Way too tall. Wait, I don't understand where people are fucking thinking. What are they thinking? Why would they make an insert like this? Now, I know they put the insert in like that because the cards were originally stacked like this. Is that the way you want me to store your cards? Like this? That's dumb. That's retarded. Good Lord. Use a fucking brain. I swear to God, designers, manufacturers, use some goddamn brains. Ridiculous. Let's see if we can open this. It might help keep the cards from like going everywhere. No, and here's the next thing. Look at that. They should have designed this so it would fit in here flat. But no, look, it is physically too big to fit back in the box. I can try to squeeze it in the box, but then what it does is it's going to push on the, I mean, like, seriously, like, all you had to do is make this like an 1/8 of an inch, maybe less, right? Make it an 1/8. This is how much you needed to cut off, and then this would fit in here perfectly flat. Oh my God, are you serious? And it doesn't fit this way either. Oh my God. Plaid Hat Games. You have got epic failure. Epic fucking failure. Look. This is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to keep it that way. No, I don't want to do it that way. I want to try and keep the cards from falling out because they didn't design it right. Oh my God. Seriously, use the fucking brain. Good Lord. Look, and then look, you see what happens then? It bows it up. Oh my God, I can't believe they did that. I cannot believe they did that. Oh my God. Like, for seriousness. Ridiculous. No, I can't keep it that way. I literally cannot keep it that way because otherwise it's going to bow the box. This game is about ready to get thrown across the room. It's almost like they designed it specifically to piss you off. That's, I believe, is the answer to the question. What game manufacturer is going to piss me off today? Ridiculous. I mean, I understand, like, if you go and look at Ash's, right, the thing is all about, like, having many characters to play with, right? So we get, what, 5 or 6 that came in the base, in the expansion, right? But they've given you plenty of room to expand and add more cards to the box. The fucking problem is they didn't design the box for you to do this right. Oh my God. So, like, seriously, let's see. Could we actually put 3 rows side by side by side? Let's see. I bet you we can. Yes, we can. We can actually put 3 rows. If they had a insert, a cardboard insert that was literally like a 1/4 of an inch wide that ran right down here and right down here, you could literally use this box to put 3 rows of cards in this box. But the way they designed it, you literally can't use any of it. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This is almost, and I mean almost as bad as Phalanx Games. Plaid Hat Games will probably not be getting any more of my money. Probably not. And Herman is going to hear about this one. Herman Lutman, good friend of the channel, and I love Herman. Great designer. He turned me on to this and about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago and said they're kickstarting Ashes. And if you haven't looked at it, you might want to do it. And I did. And I got it. And now I'm very disappointed that I did get it. Because, like, seriously, I mean, artwork's cool. The gameplay is pretty cool from what I see. But it's like, I'm just aggravated not to play it now. I'm literally not aggravated. I'm aggravated not to play it. I'm like, right? Now I've got to try and figure out how the hell am I going to get these cards. The cards are just going to move around because I've got no way to keep them standing straight up. And not only that, but they slide left and right because there's like too much room between them. Oh my God. Terrible. Absolutely, absolutely terrible. They're almost as bad, almost as freaking bad as Phalanx games, which I will never order anything from Phalanx games again. But I mean, the box artwork is nice. The card artwork is nice. I don't know about the gameplay yet. War is upon us. One Phoenix born will rise above the rest, and others will be fall to ashes. Unleash your superior skill with the Maoni Viper and use it to shield your warriors, conjure magical pets, and watch them grow. So this is kind of like a druid. Bring the merciless punishment of Cole Rourkewind to the battle and slay your foes with the fury of 1,000 slashing blades. So this is kind of like an assassin. Veil your true power behind charity and hospitality, then crush your enemy's psyche with Sarla Guildman's mental magic. So this is kind of like a sorcerer. Show your disdain for humanity with Noah Redmoon. Call wolves from the shadows and make deadly pacts with vile fiends. So this is kind of like a werewolf character. Rule the battlefield through fear. Jessa Nani. Blood magic protects her own warriors while terrorizing opponents. So this is kind of like a shaman. Conjure a horde of creatures to fight for you. Then strike from out of the swirling mist with Aradale Summerglade. So this is kind of like a maybe like a elementalist or something. So they're basically all they've done is they've taken what's that game? Mage Wars. They've basically taken Mage Wars the game and they've redesigned it with different cards and different abilities. But basically it's the same thing. Is we're going to take Mage Wars and we're going to make mages, and each mage is going to have its own little special thing, right? And then it's going to have its own deck of cards to do things, which is literally what Mage Wars did 12, 15 years ago. So I mean, you're not breaking anything new into this other than I believe Mage Wars even has dice. Yes, I know it has dice. I should get out Mage Wars, but it's buried back there because it doesn't have a solo mode. If they should have come out with a solo mode for it, and maybe that's why nobody plays Mage Wars anymore, because it was like the hot thing like 15 years ago. I remember going to Origins and seeing a banner, and I'm not kidding you. This banner was 10 feet tall and maybe 30 feet long. It was huge, and it went all the way across the back of their booth, and it was like Mage Wars. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds cool. And of course, we went over and checked it out, and I bought all the stuff and all the expansions and this and that and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of it. Now you can literally go and get it for like half off, like super cheap, because it was like the hot thing at the time, and it was like $50 for the base game and then each of the expansions. And then of course they had the Mage Wars, and they did that with the tactical board where you put your mages and your all your units on the board, and you did all that stuff. But then they got rid of the board and they made Mage Wars Arena. So you didn't need to, it's what turned it from like a tactical battle almost to like a Magic the Gathering, where you just put your units out in front of you. And then when you go to attack, the enemy can choose to either block it or not. So, I mean, these, 226 cards, 20 reference cards, 76 tokens, 40 dice, and 1 rulebook. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll give it a whirl, and we'll give it a try, and we'll see But I've already got a bad thought about this going in. I've already had bad ideas. Again, I look at this game and I just think, oh, this is a rehash of Mage Wars, right? Where I spent all that money getting all everything, and then like 10 years later, you can literally buy everything for like $5 now, $10 because everyone's selling it, nobody's playing it. It was great when it first came out, but then it's kind of like, okay. I even tried to design a solo mode for that. And I probably still could if I wanted to put the effort into it. And there might even be a solo mode that you can get from Board Game Geek. I don't know. I haven't looked in the last 5 years. But it needs a solo mode. You absolutely, positively, especially for games like this, right? And that's the only reason I got this is because this game, if you order with this expansion, you need this expansion. It comes with solo mode and co-op mode. You absolutely, if you're going to have any kind of success with a goddamn card game, it has to have solo mode and it has to have co-op mode, whether it's 2-player, 3-player, 4-player, whatever. It has to have those or it will not. And I think that's why they're reissuing it. Because if you go and look at Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix board, there's a million different packs that you can buy and a million different expansions and characters and everything. Why are they re-releasing it? Because nobody's buying that shit to begin with because either it was designed wrong or it wasn't designed with co-op and solo mode, which it has to be. If you don't, nobody's playing. Okay, manufacturers, okay? Here's the thing. Manufacturers, if you're paying attention to me, which you should fucking be paying attention to me, here's the thing. There are people out there that want to recreate Magic the Gathering, and they think it's going to be their game is going to be the next greatest thing, right? So you make Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix Born with the great art. You fix all the problems with Magic the Gathering, right? You fix all those problems in your game and you think this is going to be it, and you design it and you produce it and you manufacture it. Here's the thing. Nobody gives a shit about your game anymore. When I go to the game stores, they're all playing Magic the Gathering. They're not playing Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix Born. You're not going to outduel Magic the Gathering. It's not going to happen. No matter how good your game is, it's not going to fucking make one dent in it at all. So stop trying to do it. You do not need to do that because it's not going to be successful. Magic the Gathering has been around since the 1990s. That is 30 some years ago. How many games have come and tried to knock it out of its number one place? It's not going to fucking happen, so stop trying to do it. All you're doing is running these companies into the ground, trying to produce all these cards, and you think more is better? More is not better, right? More is not better. It doesn't, your game could be 20 times better. It doesn't matter. Your game doesn't have the history that this other game has. There's too many people that have invested hundreds and thousands of dollars. They're not going to switch to your game and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on it. Manufacturers, wake the fuck up. It's not going to happen. So stop trying. It's ridiculous. How many games every third year there's a game that comes out that tries to be the next Magic the Gathering and they all fucking fail. Every single time. Mage Wars failed because it's not going to do it. Ashes, Rise of the Phoenix Born might be a great game, and maybe I'll pick up some packs and maybe I'll have some fun with it, but it's not going to fucking replace Magic the Gathering. It's not gonna do it. It might be the greatest game ever, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter one bit. It's not gonna outduel. It is so hard to get a following for your game. It's super hard to do that. If you can get a following for your game and get a loyal fan base, then it might stay in the top 500 games of all time. If you're lucky. That's if you're fucking lucky. But for you to go out and try and design a game that's going to try to take over Magic the Gathering, stop it. Just stop doing it. It's not going to fucking happen. I don't know how many times I have to say this. If manufacturers would just listen to me, if the designers and the manufacturers would come to me and ask me first, I would tell them what the fuck they should be doing, and they wouldn't have to re-release their goddamn game. I would have told them right off the bat, do not design this game to try and replace Magic the Gathering because it's not going to fucking happen. Where's your solo mode? Where's your co-op mode? You don't have those, your game's going to fucking fail. Nobody's going to play it. If you want to sell anything and you want to be a successful game, then at least follow these instructions. Make a solo mode, make a co-op mode, give the players lots of choices with different characters to play and lots of different enemies to fight. We literally have one enemy to fight. They've got one boss that you're fighting with the solo mode. If this fails, what do you think is going to happen to Rise of the Phoenixborn? Everything is going to die because nobody's going to buy anything and it's all going to go back into the trash dumpster. So they have one way to make this successful, again, is to create lots of variability for players to play their game against enemy bosses. You can't come up with just one boss. You have to give players, after I fight this guy, say 4 or 5 times, what do you think is going to happen to this box? It's going to go on the shelf and it's going to sit there and do nothing until I get a new boss to fight. If they don't come up with new bosses, I might as well get rid of this because there's nothing new for me to experience in your game. I'm not going to try and convince my friends to, hey, we should play Ashes, Rise of the Phoenixborn as a competitive mano-a-mano game. And you know what my friend's going to say is, he's going to be like, yeah, I could, but I could just play Magic the Gathering. Why would I switch? I've invested all this other time and effort into Magic the Gathering. I'm not switching. That's dumb. Oh, and I would be like, yeah, you're probably right. I should just sell my Ashes Reborn or Ashes Rise of the Phoenix and get rid of it because, like, what am I going to do with it? It's dumb. Manufacturers, you're dumb. Listen to what I have to say and maybe you can make some smart decisions. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy that I have to go through this time after time after time. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyways, here's our not great live unboxing of Ashes Reborn. Now, like I said, there might be some good gameplay in here, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 characters. The 6 characters that came in here. There's one enemy that we can fight. So we can take a couple of the characters, fight them against the boss, get a couple of the different characters, fight against the boss, a couple of the other characters, fight against the boss. So that's 3 times. Then what are we going to do? What are we going to do after that? I played the 6 characters. I see how they play differently. Woo, big deal. I got a million fucking games that do the same thing. I can play Sentinels of the Multiverse, like literally right now, and they re-released Sentinels of the Multiverse with the base game and 1 expansion, and I've got 18 characters to play with, and I've got 15, 16 bosses to go against, plus like 12 or 15 environments. I've got 8 times... No, more than that. I've got 12 times what I'm getting in this box to play with. I could play that game over and over and over again because the variability. You have to have variability. And if you think I'm going to buy more characters so that I can get my friends to go on this competitive mano-a-mano fight to the end, figure out which character is the best, sure, you might be able to sucker about 2,000 or 3,000 people into it, but you're not going to get 500,000 people that play Magic the Gathering. Your game's not going to do that. It's just not. You've released it once. It was okay. People thought it was okay. And you're re-releasing it. And now you're hoping, okay, now we can get in the solo. We can get the co-op. Maybe we can get some more people interested. Yes, probably you can. Thank you for finally doing that. But you should have done that to begin with. And number two, right? You're not going to get these people to play this solo go, oh, you know what? We could play this competitively against one another. There's 20 games that come out a year that try to do that. And not a single one has taken down Magic the Gathering since its inception, right? It's like Gloomhaven. You guys ever hear of Gloomhaven? Have you guys ever heard of it? Right? Gloomhaven is probably going to be the number one board game for about 150 years. Because to try and take that number one spot is going to be so hard. Super, super hard, right? You have the top 5 games, right? Gloomhaven finally, when it was released, broke the mold. It came out of nowhere and it said boom. And it got the fan base, it got the loyalty. Like, go and look at Frosthaven. This will go to show you the number one most successful Kickstarter board game in history was Frosthaven. It had $12.7 million investment. 12.7. Go look at Kickstarter. It'll show you $12.7 million Kickstarter from Frosthaven. It's because people, when they play something, they stick to it and they play the same thing. You take Gloomhaven and you change a few rules, you change a few things, it's going to sell $12.7 million in Kickstarter, right? And that's not even talking about all the people that didn't kickstart it. It's going to be huge. So Gloomhaven and Frosthaven are not going to leave the top 5 games of all time for 80 years probably. Maybe even longer. It's going to be forever. It's going to be forever because to get a loyal fan base for your game, just so you can scrap by a few things and make a little bit of a money so you can do it again, right, is what most game manufacturers strive to do, right? A lot of them create the game and it's a flop because it's a bad game or people don't hear about it or whatever, right? There's very few games that are released that are critical successes right off the bat. But yet manufacturers think over and over again, this is going to be the one. This is going to be the one because once in a while, like since 1970, the same 20 games were in the top 10 of Board Game Geek forever until Gloomhaven came along. Now everyone thinks, oh, we've got the next Gloomhaven, right? We've got the next Gloomhaven. We've got the next Gloomhaven. It's going to be the number one game of all time. And it's got 1 million miniatures and it's got 1 million things and it's super cool and people are going to love it. And sure, it might be a great game and people might like it, but it's not going to replace Gloomhaven. It's not going to do it. How many Dungeon Delve games come out every year? There's like 20 good ones. Those are the good ones that come out every year. There's like 20 good ones that come out every single year. And they try to replicate the one that was successful. And they don't. And you're lucky you didn't even make money trying to do that. You need to come up with the reason Gloomhaven was successful, right? The reason Gloomhaven was successful was because it didn't try to copy something that's already been there. It decided to come up with something new and interesting. It's like Dominion. When Dominion first came out in 2008, it was the best, for me, it's still the best game ever, but deck building was not a thing. All of a sudden, it's a thing. It's now a thing. Dominion created a thing. It sold over 5 million copies. How many times out there has a game created 15 expansions for it? There's like one game in the history of board gaming that has created 15 full-fledged expansions for the game, and that is Dominion. And that's why it's the number one game of all time. All right? So you cannot replicate a game that's already out there trying to supersede and outdo it. All of these games, these boss dueling games that come out, and there's at least 5 every year. There's at least 5 boss dueling games that come out every single year. Think they're going to be the next Magic the Gathering. And the ones that came out last year or 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and 10 years ago are still, you can go to some of these retail, after retail shops, and you can literally pick up their whole collection for like $150. You can get their thousands and thousands of cards for like $150 because nobody wants them and everyone's selling them. So it's just reality. Okay, I'm not trying to say anything new. This is stuff people should know, especially manufacturers should know this stuff, right? You cannot recreate Magic the Gathering and try to do that. What you have to do is create a brand new game and hope and pray that somebody likes it enough where all of a sudden, like Arc Nova, right? Arc Nova was like our game from like 2021, 2 years ago. Arc Nova came out of nowhere. And it literally was a game that was not a copy of another game, right? It had the little tableau where you're choosing your little actions. You're actually building your individual zoo. How many games on zoos come out? Is there 5 games on zoos every year? No, there's not. People love zoos. Go down the street, there's a huge zoo, right? People love zoos. A game on zoos is, ooh, that sounds interesting. I'll pick it up. Then you find out it's a pretty good game. That's why Arc Nova is successful. You have to think about these things when you go to design your games, right? It's how many games come out on fantasy every year? There's at least 20 different fantasy games that come out every year. Dungeon Delve games that come out every year. Every one of these ones wants you to learn their system and play their characters and go through their adventures. And how many of them are successful? Like none. Like Tainted Grail was like 2021, 2020, 2021, whenever Tainted Grail came out. And it was a halfway successful, it was halfway successful in what it did, but now it's being re-released because people enjoyed it, but there was so many issues and so many problems, so they redesigned the game and now they're like this game. Why are they redesigning the goddamn game to begin with? What was wrong with it the first time? Why didn't you fix the goddamn game before you released it? It's crazy. And that's why solo and co-op option is important because it increases the longevity and you can still play it if you enjoy it, even goes out of fashion. Thank you, Richie. Finally, somebody with a brain out there. I mean, again, I am not the first guy that ever said this. If you go and look on the internet, there's probably 50 other people that have already said this, but why do manufacturers ignore this? Why do they not care about this? We can tell you right off the bat whether your game is going to be successful or not based upon what it is, how it's designed, and what it's trying to do. We can tell you whether or not it's going to be successful. Of course, every year there's a few games that are, oh yeah, this is going to be successful, and it's for whatever reason it's not. And there's also a couple games every year that's like, no, it's not probably not be a winner, and it ends up being a winner. So there's always a few fluctuations in there. You're going to miss occasionally here and there. But I can almost guarantee whether or not, I can tell you whether your game is going to fucking work or not based upon how it's designed, what it's trying to do, and what is the purpose of the game, right? That is the most important thing. This is an entertainment business. This is an absolutely entertainment business. Most people don't realize it. Board games are an entertainment business. There are literally thousands of movies that come out every year, right? But there's only 2 or 3 movies that ever win the Academy Award, right? And nominated for an Academy Award. If there's thousands and thousands of movies, why is there only like 2 or 3 that are nominated? It's because there's only 2 or 3 that are damn good. That's why. Your game has to be good. You are giving people like John Wick, right? Is coming out. John Wick 4 is coming out, and it'll probably be a decent movie and stuff. It's not going to be an Academy Award winner because it's designed to just have people go and be entertained for a couple hours and move on, right? And you know, people have now watched John Wick 1, John Wick 2, John Wick 3, so they have some history with the character. They know some of the backstory. They know some of the history. They know something, right? So now I'm like, well, I got to find out what happens to the character, right? I got to find out why, like Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings, movie 1 came out. Great. People loved it. Movie 2 came out. Loved it. Movie 3 came out. People loved it, and it won an Academy Award. Tons of Academy Awards. Why did it win tons of Academy Awards? Because people now have a history. They know the characters. They're rooting for these characters. They're watching for these characters. They're invested into it. Manufacturers, you got to get people invested in your game, right? That's why Magic the Gathering is never, well, probably in my lifetime, will never be supplanted as the number one deck dueling game of all time. It's because it's the history and the following it has. It's not the game design. The game design sucks. Way too bad it sucks, right? It's not good. It's you can have floods. If you're not a Magic the Gathering person, you might not know what I'm talking about, but you can draw your hand and it's nothing but floods, which is basically mana to buy characters, but you have no characters or spells to put in play because you've got all mana, right? And then you can also have droughts, same thing, but the opposite, right? Where I can draw my hands and I've got nothing but characters and I've got no mana to bring in these characters, right? So Magic the Gathering is a flawed, broken game, but it still doesn't fucking matter. It's the number one card dueling game of all time, and it will continue to be that not because of the game design, right? And this is where most manufacturers miss it. It's not because of the game design, it's because of the history and the relationship people have and the investment people have. I am as guilty as hell in every one of you board gamers out there, right? I am Mr. I should not be the one talking because I have Marvel Champions, right? Marvel Champions is my Achilles heel, right? Great game. I love the game. I think it's a wonderful game. But every month they come out with expansion characters for this, right? And then I buy the expansion characters. Another $15 to buy the expansion characters. And every 3 months or 4 months they come out with a big expansion, which is another $40. And I buy those expansions. And I continue to buy these expansions. And even though I haven't played Marvel Champions probably in a year and a half, I've probably got 10 characters, right? I got 10 characters that I've opened up, I've looked at the cards, and I put them in this box. I've probably got 10 characters that I've never played. And I keep buying these stupid characters. Why do I keep buying these characters? It's because I am invested in the game and the system. And I think to myself, oh, they came out with, who's the new one? Rogue. They came out with Rogue. Oh, I don't have Rogue. I should probably get it in case I ever go to play the game again. I should probably get one. And so I do. And this is the only way Rise of the Phoenix is going to have any success is they need to get players that get invested in their game and their system. So when they come out with more expansion packs and they come out with add-ons, people just naturally go and buy this stupid thing. And solo and co-op will go a long way to helping that because I'll have more characters to play. But if I only got one enemy to fight, right? If I only have one enemy to fight, I'm probably going to play this game 2 or 3 times and it's going to go on the shelf and then I'm going to sell it because I'm not going to be invested in your stupid game. And if you think you're going to change all those players that have played Magic the Gathering for years and years, if you think you're going to convert them all over to your game, you're nuts. And I'll tell you what, if you think you can do this, let's make a bet. Let's make a bet in 5 years from now, if your game or Magic the Gathering is more popular. I will bet you as much money as you want to bet. You want to bet $500? You contact me. Here's my email address right here. You want to see it? Right, boom. There's my email address. idgesterlive@gmail.com. You email me, and we'll make a bet in 5 years which game is more popular. And if you think your game is going to be more popular, you let me know. And you put your money where your mouth is, and I can guarantee in 5 years, or maybe even 10 years, whatever you want to do, we can do it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. We can do it every year for the next 5 years. Whatever you want to do. I can bet you whatever you want. Whatever you want, contact me. I'd be more than happy to take your money. It's just not going to happen. And it's not because your game sucks. Don't read it as your game sucks. It's not because Magic the Gathering is the greatest game in the world, because it's not. As we already talked about, it's a broken mess. It's because people play board games for entertainment, and their entertainment has to entertain them. And if your game is not entertaining them and they don't have a history, right? This is where it all comes down to, is the history. Why do you think movies, right, come out with sequels? Is that a mistake, right? Like Aliens 1, Aliens 2, Aliens 3, Aliens 4, Aliens 5, Superman 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, why do they come out with all these sequels, right? Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They're not dumb, right? The CEO over at WB, the company that makes what is it called? Western I can't remember the name of what it's called. But anyways, the guy that sits up in his little office penthouse suite making 8 figures is saying the same thing that I'm saying. How are we going to make money? We've got people that like Guardians of the Galaxy. We should probably, they got history. They understand the characters. Let's make another movie. Why not? And it's going to be successful. It will be successful. Every single one. They can literally, like the new Ant-Man movie that came out, whatever it was called. Couldn't even tell you the name of it, right? Right? like Ant-Man. Like, who in their right mind is got history or is like, oh, Ant-Man is my favorite Marvel character. No. But we all know Ant-Man from all the movies, right? The movie he was in, and then, of course, the big trilogy movies where we got to see Ant-Man. We now have a history with Ant-Man. So we got to find out what's going on with Ant-Man. We got to go on and we got to go see what happens to Wasp. We got to go find out. I could care less about this stupid movie, but I got to go find out about it. That's where the entertainment people understand how people work. And that's all I'm trying to do, is to explain to you how people work. People work a certain way with their entertainment. With their entertainment, they work a certain way. It's not like anything else out there. They work a certain way. So now I know, oh, Ant-Man, I got to go see the Ant-Man movie because I could care less about Ant-Man, but I have to see what happens so I know what goes on. So when the next movie comes out, I know where everything stands. I've got a history. I got a relationship with those characters, right? DC, right? DC, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. Those characters are just as important, if not more important, than Marvel characters, right? If you just like randomly ask somebody, what's your favorite superhero? Like 20% of the people are just going to say Superman or Batman right off the bat. DC is more popular than Marvel. But nobody cares about DC. Nobody cares about them because they have no relationship in history with Spider-Man. Or why do I keep saying Spider-Man? With Superman and Batman are the only two, right? Aquaman movie fails. We have no history with Aquaman. We can care less about Aquaman. Wonder Woman movie fails miserably because nobody cares about those characters. Nobody has a history with those characters. Nobody, when you ask somebody, what's your favorite superhero of all time, like nobody says Wonder Woman. Nobody says Aquaman. Very small, like 0.0001% of the population would say those, right? They're going to say either Marvel hero, or they're going to say Batman, or they're going to say Superman, or they're going to say like the Joker or something like that, right? Somebody that's popular, not one of these offshoots, right? That's why DC movies, nobody goes to watch them because nobody has a history with them. Nobody cares about them at all. Marvel, when Marvel started first releasing them, right? They released the popular Iron Man, right? Spider-Man, right? They didn't release Ant-Man first. Are you fucking kidding me? Right? Nobody has a history with Ant-Man. This is crazy. It's if you want people to buy your entertainment, you have to give them a relationship with your game. You got to give them a relationship to spend their money with your game. It doesn't matter how good your game is. They have to have a relationship and a history with it. That's what matters. Gloomhaven, right, spawned on Frosthaven, which was the number one $12.7 million Kickstarter. If any of these manufacturers think that when they're going to start their Kickstarter, they're going to get $12.7 million, they're insane if they think that. They are not the CEO that's sitting in the penthouse suite. These are some yahoos sitting in their basement in their mommy's house. They're sitting in their basement and they're making these decisions. They're not making 8-9 figures for a company because they're not using their brains for this. Absolutely. And the wife is having a cow because I'm yelling in here, yelling and screaming again because it makes me so frustrated. Over and over again, we have this same conversation. So I will cut it off here. That was a live unboxing of Ashes Reborn. A lot of problems already with this game. A lot of problems already. So we'll see where it goes from here. James Bond, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Star Trek, Jurassic Park. Thank you. Historic Wings. It's again, I'm not saying anything that nobody else has said, right? I'm just reiterating what other people have said. And if you're smart, you'll listen to what I have to say because what I say will make or break your money if you are a designer and you're a manufacturer, because making sense of your product is the number one most important thing. So, anyways, Richie, Historic Wings, Tim, D, thank you guys for coming. Alistair, David Heath, Dwayne, you guys, appreciate you guys coming out. Sorry I'm aggressive, but it's just, it drives me crazy because I have a passion for board games, and then when people mess it up, I just want to go and smack somebody upside the head. Whoever designed this box needs to be fired immediately. Plaid Hat Games, you need to find who designed this box and say, you're out. Goodbye. Go get a job like designing subways or something because you suck at designing boxes. And a box is supposed to be the easiest thing to design. You suck. And now a lot of people that do the live unboxings are not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that because it aggravates me to no extent. Really? Yes, really. I got to go. Dinner time. See you.